for each of the human beings who you encounter. Every human who you walk by on the sidewalk, every human who you go to work with, every human who you're related to, every human being who you see on TV is a human who came into the world vulnerable and needing care, and who, if they're lucky, will leave the world vulnerable and needing care. And that's what I've been thinking about with this commandment to love one another. What would it mean to treat each other with that gentleness and say, no matter what this person has said to me, no matter what they have done wrong, no matter what our relationship is or isn't, or how close to me they are, or how far away from me they are, this is a human who came into the world as a little squirming baby, who needs all of that tenderness and care. Now, you and I like to put on some hard covers about how we're not that vulnerable anymore and how we're a little bit more independent now, and most of us can bathe ourselves. But somewhere inside us, there's still that. And somewhere inside the other, there is still that. And I think there's something about this commandment that you shall love one another that means that when someone lashes out at me, I wonder, what kind of pain is coming from inside that vulnerable person that they're lashing out, so that I might forgive them? So that when I encounter someone strange and new, how I might say, I wonder who's inside there. I wonder what gifts they came into the world with and how they will leave it, and how do I treat every interaction I have with a sacredness that I might welcome a new baby or say goodbye to a loved one. It's hard to do, and I will confess that I do not have the emotional strength to interact with every human being at every moment with that awareness of the sacred. But it's nonetheless true that every one of those interactions is just that sacred. And there is this commandment. How do we live in that kind of love? And what spiritual beings would we be? What good followers of Christ would we be if we remember that about each other? Of course we fail. Of course we don't quite live up to it. Which is good, because Jesus himself, into the world as a squirming little body that needed care, totally vulnerable, about to leave the world, not peacefully in his bed, but a victim of violence, will give himself for us so that we might have all that forgiveness. And an image that we might think of when we leave our life finally is Jesus kneeling in front of our feet saying, well, that was a long journey. Welcome home. Let me wash the dust off your feet. There's a banquet waiting. Because as much as we are called to love each other, so much more Jesus has loved us first, forgiven us when we failed, and will welcome us home. So we practice today. We practice seeing each other with that kind of tenderness. We practice acknowledging the sacredness of caring for each other by ritualized feet washing. So nobody's feet are actually going to get soaked up, but it's kind of a ritual action of remembering. And everyone is invited forward, and you may choose, if you're uncomfortable, you certainly do not have to come forward, and it won't be by pew, or it won't be in order. You come up when you feel led, one person at a time coming and sitting, and the next, with your shoes and socks off, put your feet, kind of hold them over the bowl, and the next person will pour some water from the pitcher. It's easier if you kind of put your hand on the person's heels and pour some water from the pitcher and pat their feet dry with a towel. And then you're invited, if you've just washed someone else's feet, to come and sit and have your feet washed after. It doesn't matter what order we go in, and if you want to do one thing but you can't do the other, that's okay. We'll keep our eyes open and make sure that everyone who wants to will have a chance to do what they need to do. So I want to invite you to see it as a sacred moment, a chance to practice seeing the person in front of you as tender and vulnerable and as needing and deserving love, and a chance to remember that God will do the same to us at the end of our lives. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. During this act of love, let's sing the song on the back.